What's up, AfterBuzzers? It is the finale of Married at First Sight, so we have a surprise at the end. Somebody is pregnant. There's 2 divorces, and Tristan and Mia are Tristan and Mia. Let's go. Let's get it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey.
Although we've come to the end of the road, still I can't let go.
Hey.
It's unnatural.
Ooh.
You belong to me. Ooh. I belong to you. Come.
Tristan sings this in the shower. Early. I've started early.
Oh, man. Right. Sorry. What's up, everybody? You know what it is. We're just tripping out because, it's the finale. We finally got to the end of this amazing show. This season is now come to an end, and we find out what's happening with the couple, after the cameras are turned off. I'm your host, Gonsalves, and guess what? It's only 2 of us tonight, but it's Felicia Michelle.
I thought you were going to do a little better than that. I'm a tad disappointed.
Okay, wait.
Still
Hold on. So I always do that. Okay, So hold on.
Some prolific introduction.
I know. Because, we just were vibing already. So, okay, here we go. Give it up for the talented, the fresh face, beautiful, hair on fleek, the incomparable, the amazing shot caller, Felicia Michelle.
I'm dead. Hi, Lem. Hey, everybody. Oh, my gosh. I'm very...
Yes.
I'm here with the hypest crew, obviously. Shout outs to Anthony in the booth.
Yeah.
What's up, Lem?
What's up? All right, so let's talk about it.
Yeah.
First of all, were you surprised about anything that transpired?
No, I'm not.
The question.
And I want y'all to go back. I want y'all to go back to last week when you all told me I was wrong. And sis is right. Mm-hmm. I knew it. I wasn't surprised. I know it. I have psychic powers.
You have psychic powers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's keep it all the way real. Like, I feel like it was very predictable. The only thing, and I was just kind of rooting for them because I felt like they did have kind of a rough time, and I felt like because they were older, I was rooting for Dave and Amber to be the ones that were pregnant. So maybe that's what's clouding my judgment.
Are we starting with this?
No, I'm just saying. We're talking about what we were feeling. But I think everything else. Obviously, it made sense for Danielle and Bobby to be the ones pregnant because they had the best relationship. I mean, let's keep it all the way real. I was not surprised about the divorces. I thought it was interesting. I felt like with Tristan and Mia, I mean, we kind of already knew that just because we found that out like weeks ago.
In the beginning of September, she filed. Yeah. Shannon had reported it for News
Exactly.
and Gossip.
So that was weeks ago. The whole Dave and Amber situation, it was rocky. When they decided to stay together, it was just kind of like, okay, we'll see how far this goes. I thought maybe they might kind of turn over, but when they said, and it was mainly on Dave's end, which not surprising, when he was just like, no, I'm over it. And I love how he was saying we're good. We're going to move on. And like Amber was just kind of like, well, not saying anything. And he was kind of speaking for the both of them. What did you think?
Of Dave and Amber?
Yes, specifically.
Well, first off, I thought it was weird, and I thought it was super weird. First off, Samantha Harris, one of my favorite hosts. So I was really excited about watching her host this. I think I said that to you. I was like, she's my favorite host.
Yes.
Amber and Dave are just a special case, and I think that they're just 2 people who just didn't have chemistry. I just think that they weren't a good match initially from the beginning, and that's all that it is. And they tried.
They had chemistry physically.
It doesn't take much to have chemistry physically with someone. It just takes about 3 shots of vodka and just some bad judgment. That doesn't take much. I don't think physical attraction is hard to have with somebody when you already like them. And then also they're in this with the mindset, this is my husband. So you kind of think, or this is my wife. So you think my husband or my wife. These are things that we're supposed to do as husband and wife. But Dave, I just kind of, that nonchalantness about it, that this has never went away. It's just something about him that really kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I get that. And they've touched on this too. Like, you know, you see a 5-second clip of somebody, you can't know them in their entirety. But Amber just kind of looked like, okay, I'm just not gonna say anything because it's awkward right now for me. She looked very uncomfortable. She looked uncomfortable when they asked her about her hair. I thought that was really stupid to ask her because as a woman, like I understand the studio, or as an audience, you know, the audience wants to hear that answer. If it was because of Dave, or if it was because of a decision for something else. She said it was for the health of her hair.
Right.
That's what I thought it was for too. I didn't think it was
well, I
worth
think she said it was an addition. Like, I think she tried to say, like, Dave, it was something that helped, but it wasn't the sole reason. Like, she wasn't just changing her hair because because I needed healthy hair. So she was kind of like adding. I
was surprised with them that she left the house. That was something that surprised me. Yeah. Okay. And that she kind of blindsided him, because I thought that if they ever kind of fell out, it would be Dave would be the person to initiate it and almost blindside, not blind, you know, because he's been coming at you like a Mack truck, so you can't really be blindsided if he didn't like you or didn't want to be with you anymore. Right. Her just getting up and leaving, it just tells me she just had her full of him. And I think that maybe Amber's the type of person who just doesn't want to talk too negatively about somebody, but Dave has no problem, you know, saying negative things about her.
I mean, that's kind of been his mantra all season, kind of very deadpan, very much like, okay, this is what it is, you know, not really pulling any pinches. Dave is not a sensitive person. Like, he was never sensitive. Like, I feel like, I said this before, I feel like I know why they were matched, because they were kind of a yin and yang situation. Like, she was like super hyphy and she would have these, you know, moments and stuff. And he was very, you know, like straight-laced, you know. And so I think they made a good match there. But I think that there were times that he could have, basically, you know, whether it was complimenting her or whether it was supporting her emotionally, and he just kind of didn't do that. He was very aloof. I wanted to get from you, what did you think about, well, first of all, going on the fact that she left.
Yeah.
You know, she said, you know, according to her, it was kind of like she didn't see it as like, I just left for 2 days. Like, basically went to her crib, I'm assuming. And then that was it. And he took it more like, oh, you left, like you just bounced, like you left the house as if in like you're not trying to be in this marriage. And I feel like he was already over it. And that was just an excuse to be like, oh no, see, you just left, so now like there's no reconciliation.
He was never fully in it.
Well, what do you think about what she said? Because there was a good point that was made, and we know that this was an issue, but I don't know if we thought it was that much of an issue, because the way Amber said is that it was since he found this information out, he never like recovered, and that was her dating his friend from the gym.
Oh, that guy.
Yes. So, and we remember when it came up, because it sounded like the way it was described, you know, this is a friend of his, he said he shared beers with, and I'm sure that he talked about Amber, and it sounds like he talked about Amber in a negative light.
Yeah.
It wasn't favorable, because when that came out, he was like,
oh, that's the girl you were talking about over beers. Oh,
right.
Okay.
Oh, and this is the one I'm married to? Because he said when he did find out, he's like, oh, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have gone through with this. Like, he said he basically wouldn't have married her. So it had to be something that he was not cool with whatever happened. Do you think that was the case for him, or do you think that he was just going to be like that regardless?
He's just a hard person to please. Like, his standards are ridiculously high, and I kind of feel like that's whack. Because that's not fair. It's a double standard, because you've been with people and you've had relationships before you've gotten to know me. And it's not like she knew who you were. And at no point in time before you guys got married did you know who the other person was. So I don't feel like it's fair to judge her because she had a relationship with somebody. And it's also not fair to judge her off of a relationship that you were not in, because all you're hearing is his side of it. True. And from what it sounds like to me, if you're a man and you want to discuss a woman over drinks with your friends in a negative context, then you're I want to say a certain word, but I won't. But you already know what the word is. Like you that's not a cool thing to do. Like to sit and talk about women and dog them out. And it kind of sounds like he was dogging her out and like kind of call her, say things about her. And I can imagine if he had any relationship with Amber for any certain amount of time, he probably has picked up on her insecurities. And no one ever tells a story and says what they did. Like I'm sure when he told the story, he just made some like Amber was probably like crazy or whatever. Because whatever he said was negative. It wasn't like, oh, this is a great girl and she's wonderful. Absolutely. It must have been negative. And you might, negative. Or maybe possibly sexual. He might have talked about their sexual relationship if they had one, which is stupid whack if you do that. If you're anybody, take gender off the table, like anybody who talks about their bedroom activity in mixed company about somebody, like that's whack. You're just gossiping about somebody. That's stupid.
I think that I definitely think that it did taint him. I'm just curious because and of course she has to kind of bring, because it sounded like she wasn't really done. Like when the offer was on the table, I can't remember who it was that said it, one of the experts, but basically I think it was Dr. Pepper, said like, hey,
Dr. Jessica, would you mind going to therapy
for a couple of months to see if we can salvage this, because Pastor Cal felt like it was salvageable. And he was, basically was like, no, I'm good. I don't think. And then he started using the we, like, yeah, we're kind of moving forward and we're kind of, and you see, Amber just kind of like wanting to say something like, okay, because I think she wasn't over it. Like, I think she would have liked to have tried to fight it, even though she did leave. I agree with you. I think she did kind of come to her feel, and now there's no cameras. Now there's no, you don't have to worry about this being televised. You can kind of just do whatever you want. And in that moment, she was just kind of like, I'm fed up. I'm leaving. I'm going back to my crib for a couple of days.
So live chat is going crazy. You guys, live chat is like another host. For real. Live chat's going nuts. Live chat's saying, I like Dave at first, but his BA-ness, as Puff would say, came out. Cuervo started many relationships, and Luann, hey Luann, she's so sweet. She said, I'm glad that Dr. Pepper had called Dave out tonight, that she called him out, and he totally deserved that.
Yeah.
But what you guys deserve, what you, the fans, deserve, you deserve to have more AfterBuzz in your life. So what's up, AfterBuzzers? Our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. Literally, there's no network that works harder for television fans, but we do need your help. So we're asking that you would please subscribe to one, more, or all of our YouTube channels. And what you do with that is YouTube generates content that's tailor-made for you. And what it does is it helps us at AfterBuzz continue to grow. If you're worried about those little notifications that YouTube has, you don't have to worry about them because they're optional. So what I'm asking you to do right now is hit the subscribe button, like right now, for this channel or for any of our other channels on AfterBuzz TV. And listen, we will shout you out on air. We want to thank you guys so much for continuing to be the best fans and allowing us to be the ESPN of TV talk. You guys rock, seriously.
Word.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting too, going back to Dave and Amber, that when the question was posed, his reaction, because basically between them and Tristan and Mia, which we'll get into in a little bit, when the question was posed, would you, how do you feel like it was the Married at First Sight experience? Would you do it again? I think was the question. And it was the men that raised their hands, and it was the women that basically was like, nah, I'm good. And Dave was just kind of like, oh yeah, well, this is, this was good. And it was almost like he
it was like a Hulu trial or something.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah. Like I loved that. But like I don't feel like paying like the $14.99 a month for no commercials. So I don't want to do that. I'm gonna cancel.
Let a Hulu try away.
That's how he made it seem like it was a pair of boots to try on, or like a car to test drive, or not the permanency that we think of when we think of the commitment of marriage and creating that union. He was kind of always 1 foot in and 1 foot out. If you ask me, I'm just keeping it real with you, because somebody like you would have tapped in, or tried to tap into the emotional part of yourself. I can't believe that this man has gone 38, almost 40 years of his life with someone telling him that you lack emotional intelligence and sensitivity.
Do you think that he is emotionally unavailable, or do you feel like he just wasn't into Amber?
I feel like he's a jerk, and I don't like him, and I don't like talking about him that much, because I think he's just a jerk, and he represents, and I feel like Amber's been with that kind of guy often, and so when she was quiet, it was because okay, like, I'm gonna let you say what you have to say. I know that we're done here anyway, if that's what you're saying. I don't want to give any more of myself, because she said I wouldn't have done it because I didn't know how emotional it would be for me, and my life is out there and my feelings are out there. So for her, it's just been emotional the entire time, and she's probably just tired. So go ahead and say whatever you want to say, Dave. Like, nobody cares. Like, you're a 6.5.
He was very, yeah, I feel like he was never emotionally connected. And when we, going back, cause he was the one that would always brag about, the physicality of their relationship, and would keep, mentioning that, oh, we have sex every day. Every day we have sex.
Disgusting.
And it was like, he never talked about the heart matters. He never talked about the things.
I want to make Amber feel comfortable. I want to make Amber feel comfortable. All he said was, I want her to stop being insecure. Like, it was never about that.
I think what it is he also, and I don't know, I mean, obviously don't know him. And I think that we all have different personalities, GP. But I think that I don't think he really wanted to get to know her. On that level. Like, I think that he kind of put up this mental block, whether it was because of the friend situation or whether because he wasn't into her. And I think that a lot of the times that when she would have these outbursts, do you see what I'm saying? And he would just kind of make comments, it was because she felt that.
So in the live chat, that's what we're saying. So Optimus Fine, I haven't seen you in this chat before. Hey, okay. So Optimus Fine says Dave was waiting for her to mess up big enough so he could pull the trigger, and Amber wasn't insecure. It was really intuition she was reading. He just wouldn't confirm. So that like kind of blew my mind, because that's probably what it was. A woman's, you kind of know,
absolutely,
when someone's not into you,
absolutely,
and it made it seem like Amber was the one that had the problem, when it was probably all on Dave. But yeah, they said that they don't like Dave.
Yeah,
Luann said she don't want to talk about Dave anymore. So I don't want to talk about Dave.
All right, we're going to be done talking about Dave. But I really think, just going back, I really think that probably is the situation. And that's why he couldn't get to where she wanted him to be, or whether he should have been in a relationship like that. Let's get into Tristan and Mia. Are probably a most talked about couple this season, just because of all the ups and downs that they had. I mean, from jump, they had definitely the most drama, jumping off. Were you surprised?
Don't ask me if I was surprised about anything. I told you I was not surprised about anything that happened in this episode.
I'm so sorry. Wait a second. I was saying it, like I was literally saying it. I'm like, why am I asking this question? Because of course you're not surprised. No one's surprised. Like,
I think that they're when they brought them out, it was very, very telling about how they interact when the cameras weren't there, because they told the same story but in two completely different ways. I've always heard, like, growing up, like, there's one side, another side, and the truth. And they both are on two total polar opposite ends on who initiated the divorce. I did.
Right.
Listen, initiation is one person. They're like, well, no, I said that. I said it first, and then I went to go see you, and then you said that you wanted to. So he said, so I initiated. No, I initiated. Listen, y'all done. Let it go. You have new hair. You have new hair. You should move on. Everybody knows. You get new hair. If you break up with somebody, you move on. Move on. You have new hair.
Do you think they were both just not ready to be married?
Can I tell you one thing?
Yes.
They should have had a bigger couch, because they know Tristan is big and his knees was touching his chin. And I was like, he looks so, I'm uncomfortable
the whole
him.
Season, he was always like,
they need to get furniture for him, because that's wrong.
Better furniture.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
But what did you ask me?
I was saying, do you think that they were just both not ready to be married?
Yes, I think, like what I said before, y'all, one storm cloud, another storm cloud does not equal a sunny day. And she mentioned it. She's like, I think I have issues within myself that I need to work on. And get a lot. She kept saying, I need to get a lot of things together. I need to get a lot of things together. And I was like, no, you need to formulate a list and find out what those things are, because saying I need to get a lot of things together when you're 3 months past this experience, like, I love what Pastor Cal said. Pastor Cal was like, take these instances, these issues, the pain, and use it to fuel yourself to become better, to, like, use it for your betterment. And I was like, Pastor Cal, he touched my heart. And I was like, I'm going to use my hurt for my betterment. And I think that that's what they need to do. They just have individual issues.
I agree. And I'm glad she said
and
that. Just
delusional.
Because,
They're both delusional.
Just because she recognized it. And I'm sure that a lot of it came from probably looking at herself back because, I mean, you can imagine you're on television, because I know that there's things that I do and say just in my life, just in living, whether I'm around my friends, whether it's coworkers or whatever, and people will say like, "Oh, you acted in this," and I'm like, "Wait, no, I didn't," because you don't think so, and then you may, someone may bring it and take someone else to be like, "No, I kind of saw that," or something happens where you kind of can see that, and so I feel like there was growth there in the sense, because she saw like how she was. She obviously, with her, I laughed, I chuckled a little bit when she was like, "Oh, the experience about marriage. Well, I thought it was like, rainbows and butterflies and like a fairy tale."
Listen,
and I'm like,
a lot of people think that marriage is like that, though. A
But
lot of
who,
people have
though?
this. A lot of people who got married. A lot of people, including, including. Like, now watching this show, I know, or as I'm getting older, I'm understanding more
Right.
the complexity of relationships. But a lot of people think that marriage is the end of your loneliness, of pain, of feeling by yourself. You can feel alone in your marriage. You could be insecure in your marriage. You could be
course.
unhappy in your marriage.
Of
There are
course.
things you're gonna have to work on with another person. And so I do think for a lot of people, they think that marriage is a solution of some sort, and not necessarily just a step that you naturally take in life or you naturally don't take. But either way, you don't force it. So I get it. I think a lot of people think that. I think a lot of people a lot of people who've never been married are very optimistic about the things inside of marriage that can somehow complete them. And I think that she had a lot of things in her that were incomplete. And she thought that being married and being in a union was going to be incomplete. And that whole "your better half" thing is a bunch of
Right.
crap. Like, you're two whole people.
You need to be two, and you have to in a relationship. And this works in a marriage, and if you're just together. If you come in and you have some, I was talking to a friend about this actually. You have to be 100%. Both of you have to be a whole person. And then you come and you bridge that together. Like some people say, like, "Oh, I'm gonna get 50," and then you're gonna get 50. No, it doesn't work that way. If you're not complete in who you are and you're not giving 100%, both of you, it's not going to work. And if you're not able to do that because you're empty or because there's things that you're lacking in, the relationship is just not going to work. And I feel like with them, that's what the problem was. I think that they liked each other. Well, they said they loved each other. So I think that obviously feelings was there, attractions was there, but we even saw just like in mannerisms and things that they did, and the fact that they, like you said, you pointed out, great thing, when they gave the same scenario, but they were just on two different planes, and then we're arguing about who initiated the divorce. First of all, that's a terrible argument. Like,
That was a terrible question. Like, these people, they knew it. They knew
right,
that, though.
right. But I mean, they got to get it out for the second.
You left versus you got kicked out.
Exactly.
Like, how can y'all be confused about that?
But it's because they are looking at things, and he even said this. He would always tell her this. Like, I remember the scene when they were driving to the
second honeymoon,
baby moon or whatever, or what was it, mini moon?
Second honeymoon. Nobody's pregnant but Danielle.
No, I know. So it's not a baby moon; it's a mini moon. I think is a
They made
after
this,
moon.
these things are made up.
Before
okay,
moon.
the only types of moons there are
It
like
was-
crescent moons,
it was-
full moons. That's the only type of moons that are
Was
real.
it a jelly moon? Not honeymoon, but jelly, like something like. Anyways, it was. It was the second honeymoon.
Can I? I'm gonna let you laugh for a second because I'm gonna let you get that laugh out. So, see you who's. I always say that your name wrong, but Lord, the chat is moving so fast. Sometimes I look and anyway. So yeah, they agree. See you who said women are bred to believe in that happily ever after, and that is so true. You're a little girl and like princess, and it's like some guy comes to save you because you've eaten a rotten apple or you've taken a very long nap, and it's that whole concept. A lot of people in Mia's generation, in my generation, your generation, kind of had that ideal. I'm a princess, and some man comes and swoops me up, and my life is ever great, moving forward. So I get that. And Luann says that she likes me, but she doesn't think she's a bad person. Like I watched this and I was like, I don't think that Mia's a bad person. I thought before like she was like really delusional. I thought she was manipulative. But as I watch it, I just think she's somebody who has gone through some things and has some issues that she has to work through, just like any other person. And same with Tristan. It's very hard in a relationship because naturally when two people are feuding, you want to pick a side, and I don't think it's a side situation, this type of deal. I did not like when she said that his mother had called her to tell her
As opposed to him.
that she needed to be more secure because women come up to Tristan all the time.
All the time.
First off, don't call my phone to talk to me about my relationship with your son. That is crossing a boundary, okay? Like, no, I do not have to answer to you. And the fact that you wouldn't have advised him for a better response to me and then let him go ahead and say it.
As opposed to you
calling my phone. Unfortunately, my phone dies randomly in the middle of conversations when people say stupid things to me and it hung up on you. That's what would have happened.
What would have happened? The whole situation, and I thought it was weird that they had two different even scenarios for that, which spawned the whole I'm leaving thing where he's, she said that he's looking at a scantily clad ex-girlfriend and saying, oh, look how hot she is. And then his whole thing was he was scrolling Instagram, was like, oh, that's my ex-girlfriend. And then she kind of just flashed on it. So it's like, who do you believe?
So in the chat, they're saying, Mr. Aliwuda, hey, what's up? They both want to be victims so bad. I was like, damn, that's kind of true. Like, they both victimize themselves.
Live in that world. Yeah,
Who wants to be the victim? That's never fun. Like,
no, it isn't. But some people, that's their go-to, because again, if you're not a whole person, it's easy to be like and play the role of like, oh, well, you did wrong to me, so I feel wrong, so I can go ahead and have this reaction because you did wrong to me, when they don't maybe see themselves. And I think that was the case with both of them. And so it was never. And
they both had family members who like impeded on something. Yes. Like initially it was her dad and her sister, right? And then like treating her like she's a pretty little princess who doesn't do anything wrong and that he has to somehow rise to the occasion or he's terrible. And then it's his mom stepping in and saying something to her, and it's a mess, and it just doesn't need to happen.
However, I will say that she should have been honest up front.
What did she say? Oh, I was trying to tell the truth, and it was like somebody was choking me.
It's another time
that's
that I chuckled.
Guilt when you know that you're about to lie. You get that thing on your chest that like feels like it's pressing on it because you're lying.
And I think that just goes that she's just trying to save face. Like anyone knows that and sometimes the truth may be hard to say, but I think in this situation, you should know that if you're confronted with that, being out in the open and just saying the truth is going to be better than holding it and then it coming out later, especially when there's cameras, especially when you can't be like, oh, I didn't know, especially when all these things are happening. You're on a television show. You're not just being together. Do you see what I'm saying? And so, I feel like she should have been honest. And I'm not saying that would have saved the marriage, because I still think they were the same type of people. So I still think there would have been something else. It
weakened it from the beginning, and the foundation
it's like they were out the starting blocks late. Everybody, I mean, literally and figuratively, like here they are in the honeymoon and they're like at the airport still. So I think that it was almost like it was over before it started, kind of, because of that situation, because then there was something else and then there was something else. And Tristan is already looking at it like, well, you lied to me once, now you're going to lie to me again. And then all of this. So yeah, it was doomed from the front, but yeah, they both have things that they need to deal with.
Shout outs to Tristan's facial expressions, because that was giving me life the entire time, and I was cracking up when the experts were talking to him and he just was like looking at his nails, like he was just like, I'm just over this. And even I watched a lot of body language, and even Dr. Jessica, when he was talking, was like, had her like arm back on the chair like this, like looking at him like she rolled her eyes and everything, like she was over him. Yeah. And so I don't know what their relationship is with the experts and how the experts personally feel about the situation, but it was very clear to me that Dr. Jessica was not feeling Tristan, and it was very clear to me that Tristan was not feeling any of the experts or anything.
What they were saying, they were trying to give advice. He was just like,
he wasn't feeling any of the experts, and he wasn't feeling Mia, but he was still very nice to everyone else, to Dave, to Amber.
Yeah, he got up and hugged.
He hugged Bobby and Danielle for their news, only person to like get up and do that. So I think he just is over it and done with.
And I think too, like you said, you don't think that Mia's a bad person. I don't think that either. I think Tristan's a bad person.
Oh no, Luann said that.
Okay.
No, I did too. I agreed.
But I think that this situation brought out the worst in both of them.
Absolutely.
I think that's exactly what happened. I mean, you can tell Tristan is a fun-loving guy. He likes to have fun. I mean, you saw that at the beginning, then you saw that leaving as the relationship went. And so I think that it just brought out the worst in both of them, and that's what a bad relationship can do.
Did you feel for him when he was talking about the issue early on this season? he had said that he wanted a wife
Right.
who
The
his
colorism.
complexion wasn't any darker than his, and he's kind of on the fair side of, you know, melanated people. And a lot of people had a problem with that. We talked about it here on the show, and just how what he said was problematic. I felt really bad for him because, like they said, it's a 5-second clip, and we don't know his entirety as a person. And people were telling him that he hated himself, that he hated his family, and I think that's something that really hurt him. But I'm kind of hoping in a way that he saw and understood that why what he said was problematic and hurtful to women of color, like
Right.
why those types of statements are not okay to say, like why it's such a problem, like
Right.
but to hear that it's all these people like giving him all this hate, I felt really bad. I think it's more like a not knowing. And you have to remember too, culturally it's different. Like I'm from the East Coast originally, and now I live out here on the West Coast, but he's from the South. Like there's so much culture just in the intercontinental USA. Like in the South, like people don't like oh no, I cover up my neck, I want my neck getting black. Like I've heard stuff like that continuously throughout my life. So you don't know how ingrained it is in his head. So to him, he might not have said anything bad. I felt bad for him. And somebody was like, "Oh, Tristan was crying again, and he's on damage control." But I kind of felt like maybe once you hear, like you said, once you see yourself and once you hear back what you said and how it affected people, I do think that there is a chance that, you know, made him a better man, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I still have issue with what he said. I mean, again, it was a 5-second clip, but he did say it. And so
the part that really killed me was he like,
Right.
you got to get with whoever melts your butter.
Exactly.
I was like,
Yeah.
bro.
Right. And we know that editing in most cases with these reality shows is never your friend. So however they edit it.
I don't think that was, I think that
No.
came up. That
You
was a
think
smooth,
that was-
streamlined
you think-
sentence.
okay.
Yes.
But regardless, he said what he said. And I don't think in his heart, like he feels in his, you know, certain way, like, let's say less feels slight to darker skinned women. He was saying in his family, he loves his family. Obviously, he has a family that has an array of colors. We saw his grandparents or something
Yeah,
like
like
that.
his mom is like a deeper complected woman.
Exactly.
And
But I think that it's one of those things where you don't really think that it's something that is necessarily bad or wrong. And then all of a sudden, people say like, yo, that's problematic. You should not say that. And then you get checked on it. It was kind of like, I mean, it's different, but I just want to bring light to this because I saw this today. Megyn Kelly on her show, she was saying that they were talking about Halloween costumes and what is allowed and not allowed because of cultural appropriation. And so she was saying that she made mention of somebody from one of the Real Housewives shows, I guess had wanted to dress like Diana Ross, but she darkened her skin so she could look like more like the color of Diana Ross.
Luann. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
we do that after show on
Right.
here
Okay.
AfterBuzz too. We
Okay.
have the after show for that.
Oh, you do?
Real Housewives. No, I don't, but we have it here. We do on the reality channel. Real Housewives of New York.
She didn't. She said she's like, well, she's just trying to get to her color. Like, why? What's the big deal? She's just doing it for the costume or whatever. But I don't think she. Well, she did not. That's super problematic, and people just went in on her and had a lot to say. That was very terrible statement to say. It's very naive, and so she kind of gave out an apology, saying like, you know, we're all still growing. I didn't mean anything by it. You know, this, that, and the other.
I'm sorry, you're grown, so it kind of is hard for me to
Right.
conceptualize. You know, you're grown, so
Absolutely.
it seems like why is that lost on you? Like, you work in media, like you work
Yes.
around
Yes.
news, you work around an environment where you constantly are receiving different types of information
Right.
and meeting different types of people. I don't believe that concept was new to you. I think you just personally didn't adopt it and understand it, and it was a personal opinion that you're trying to say it was an ignorance thing, but no, it's your personal opinion about it. And just let everybody know, you know, if you're confused this Halloween season, if your costume is someone's culture, replicates someone's skin color, that's like, you could be a Viking, you can't be a Native American. There's like things like that.
Yes.
Like, just pay attention. You could be Nicki Minaj, you could be Diana Ross, but you don't have to put color
Right.
on your skin to be those people. Like, if you were, I would know you're Nicki Minaj if you had a Barbie chain on and a
Right.
pink wig and you could have the whitest of skin. You don't need to do
all of
that.
And I only brought it up, and I agree with you. And it was a personal opinion because as they were saying, even before she got to that, she kept saying like, I don't understand why it's a big deal for other things. Like, what do you can't even dress up like this and that. And I just feel this way. And so it was a personal opinion. And she said it. And I don't think she realized she was going to get that backlash. But I said that to say that a lot of times we say things and we really feel them and don't realize until afterwards how problematic they can be. And I think with that situation that he said, he didn't realize it. And then he now understands, like, dude, like across the board, that's not cool.
It's just not. Can we not do that? It's like 2000. It's almost 2019.
Yeah,
like this is information that you could find on the internet.
Right, right.
It's not hard to look.
Unless you live in a bubble, you should know certain things.
Or don't have a diversified Facebook thread or timeline.
Something under a rock. You should know better. Let's get to Bobby and Danielle real quick before we close out. The minis. So congratulations to them for staying married. And not only staying married, but also getting pregnant and now expecting and being part of a spinoff show.
So are you going to apologize to me for being wrong now or
what are you
like
talking about?
After the show? Because you all sat here and was like, oh no, it's Amber and Dave.
I told you. I already recanted my statement.
No. I want to look.
I told you what happened.
You publicly said it. I want you to publicly take it.
I said earlier already. You weren't listening.
I wanted it on camera.
I said it early on camera. Okay. I said I felt that I might have been clouded because I know that they're the older couple and I wanted them to be the ones pregnant because
I wanted them to win too.
Yeah. So, and that's why I said it. But I said that already. I already said that my judgment was clouded. So it does make sense, obviously.
Well, last week, everybody was like really mad at me because
nobody
of what I said.
Mad.
They were mad in the comment section. So I had to say, like, you know, I'm sorry that you guys like didn't spell my name right when y'all all came at my neck. Like, I just Felicia, guys. I mean, I don't really care. I knew it was going to be Bobby and Danielle. They have the strongest relationship.
Yeah.
I thought it was strange that they still haven't fought. Which I don't want to root for someone to fight, but it's like, did he get on your nerve? Didn't you tell him to do? I don't know. Like, didn't
I honestly still think that
it's like Stepford wife.
Yeah, they're very. I think they're still, and I said this before. I think they're holding back. Like, I think for them and again, no one want to wish fighting, and I think even those was like, you still haven't fought. I don't want you to fight.
Yeah.
But what do you think is going on? I think that they just are still, and maybe they have the Mia syndrome of the fairy tales and all this kind of stuff. Bobby is very accommodating. And Pastor Kyle's like, we all want a Bobby.
Every woman needs a Bobby.
Every woman needs a Bobby. So he's very accommodating. I mean, he's very good, obviously, in the relationship. I feel like he goes above and beyond. And not to say that she's, not doing things. Obviously, he loves her and they are happy together. But I think that they are still holding back a little bit. And I think that once they let all of that go, then that's probably where you'll see the argument or disagreement or whatever you want to call it. When they put their full selves out there. I think they're still not fully out there with each other. And that's why they haven't had that fight.
So you already know what the chat said.
What?
They already know what they talked about, her brows.
Gosh.
This is my other qualm. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna talk about this. You can't pick and choose what people say about people. If you guys want to be mean, you gotta be mean all the way through. Like, if you I know, like, okay, I give a little shade. I give shade to everybody on everything. Like, you just can't take it so personally. But with Bobby and Danielle, like, they've talked about her brows. I thought her brows were a lot better too, guys. But with them, I think it's weird because they never really gave us a lot on camera. So them getting a spinoff or being a part of a spinoff, I just wasn't excited. The other two couples I'm very excited about, especially Anthony and Ashley. They're like my favorite couple from
They were dope.
Married at First Sight, period. Because they were dope, like, from the beginning. They weren't perfect, but they like got it together. Like, I just really like them individually and together, and I'm just happy to see that. And they're expecting, and so I don't know if I watch it for Danielle and Bobby, because I just feel like they don't give us the real, and that's what I want in reality TV. I want the good, the bad, and the ugly. You want to champion for people, but maybe we'll see their first fight then.
Maybe. I mean, obviously, when someone is pregnant, it's a lot that goes down.
Can I ask you? So I was paying attention really to body language and like not exactly what people were saying, because it kind of was like really repetitive for me. Amber's reaction to Danielle getting pregnant really hurt my feelings. Like I felt really bad for her because immediately everybody's like, and her shock was like, I'm not actually happy. Right. I'm like this because this is supposed to be.
And even when they went to her and she was just like, yeah, no, I'm happy, but I really wanted it to be me. Like she said that.
You could tell by the look on her face. She was just like,
she uttered that. Yeah, she's like, that should have been me. Like, she was trying to be coy about it, but yeah.
Me's like
looking like a robot.
Happy, and Dave's like, yeah, I knew it. And then Tristan's like, yeah.
Give me a hug. Yeah, no, I felt bad for Amber too because she did. I mean, that's what she wanted. She wants to have kids,
and she wasn't even doing the smile things. I know she really wasn't feeling it.
She was very shocked and in awe. Yes. So I did feel bad for her, but.
Somebody said Amber did the Oscar losing face, y'all.
Yeah.
I felt bad for her too. A lot of people feel bad.
Yeah.
I felt bad.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show. We are done with this season. Thank you so much for being with us. Everyone in the live chat, everyone that's been with us all season long. We really appreciate it. Sorry we didn't have a full panel to give you, the send-off. But, we did what we could, and broke it all down.
I think we did a great job.
We did an excellent job.
And we had a great time.
Excellent job. Excellent. I mean, can I say that? Yeah, that's right. I've been your host, Lim Gonsalves, and you can find me everywhere at The Poet Saint. That's at The Poet Saint. And also you can check out my website, stayonthemic.com. And please follow me and what I'm doing because I will be releasing a new poetry video I just recorded this past weekend. I'm super excited. So, stay tuned for that. Should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, Felicia Michelle.
What's up? Thank you guys so much. This is an amazing season. Love being in charge of the live chat. Y'all are hilarious. You can find me on social media at It's Felicia Michelle. You can find me in about 2 hours moderating for The Voice. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about the season of The Voice. So, and if you miss me here, then you can find me over there every Tuesday.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Until then, we'll see you. Peace.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.